the life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis rod. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it the world. Hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live and YouTube Live Fishin' freaks? We got Chris Ferguson on the show this evening talking about Casting for Kids. We're going to try to get some people signed up for the Douglas event, but before that, this episode brought to you by Hannah Sublett, insurance broker, protecting your health, securing your future. Give her a call at 740-456-7944. If you'd like to get some health or life insurance, she is located conveniently in Greenup, Kentucky, but does have the ability to sell in Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. So definitely do that before you see the guy on the other side of this show, Mr. J.R.Y.
Yep. I will see you at the hospital.
And don't see him unless you got little life and health insurance. Well, not so much life insurance because he's going to save your life, but you're going to need some health insurance because, let's face it, his expertise is worth some dollars. That's the deal. So anyway, it's been a crazy couple weeks. Amazing amounts of rain. Yatesville's holding more water than I've ever seen in my entire life. Things been there since the mid 80s, I think. I've never seen so much water in Yatesville and Painesville Lake. And then we got the Casting for Kids tournament supposed to come up this next Saturday at Yatesville, Sunday at Painesville. And all this rain kind of threw a wrench in the fellow that we got on the show tonight, Chris Ferguson, and the team at Casting for Kids. They threw a wrench in their plans. But even though the Kentucky event is full, there's a lot of stuff coming up. We have the Tennessee event, which is at Lake Douglas, coming up in May, which is still, there's a lot of people that can be fishing there. And then we got that huge tournament, which is, it's one of the craziest tournaments I've seen in my lifetime in this area. Huge payouts for the Casting for Kids Championship down in Chickamauga. But without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Chris Ferguson to the stage. What's up, Chris? How we doing?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing this evening?
But if I was any better, I'd be twins, and I have to sit on my hands all the time to keep from clapping. You know what I mean?
That's all good.
Good to have you on, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it very much. I always enjoy coming on here with you guys.
Yes, sir. Strix Marine in the house. What's up, y'all? First off, you haven't added Strix to the banner yet, but Strix Marine came on as a sponsor for On Another Line there not too long ago. So first off, Aaron Strickland with Strix Marine has a lot to offer everybody, but he just brought out some new. I'm not going to call them Sea Clear harnesses because I think they're better than Sea Clear. They're based on a Sea Clear harness. They have like 8-gauge wire. Have all the drops for your most common stuff like your transducer and your black boxes and your Garmin's Humminbird. It's all the same, but the deal about getting a really good clear picture to your graphs is having quality harnesses to get the power from your battery to your graphs. He's making those, has Big Al Speed Shine, a lot of different stuff, has his own little mechanic shop there. He was the guy that got me back on the water last year when I bent my prop shaft, took it there. He fixed my lower unit. Does have a lot of parts and stuff in-house, especially if you're talking about older stuff like Evinrude, two-stroke Mercuries and stuff. He's got several lower units up there that are, they're quality lower units that are at a cut rate price, which is crazy. But if you're looking for any parts or services and you don't want to go to a big name shop like Malone's, check out Strix Marine. Larry Slack in the house.
Tony, good to have you back, man. Hopefully the trip was good.
So wish you'd been there for better weather. I will be there next week. I'm super pumped about that. So if we think about one of the biggest tournaments in our area, we have to think about Casting for Kids. It's far and away one of the best tournaments that I've ever fished. One, because we've talked about it 100 times on our show. The way that Chris and their whole entire team, like Chris, Chris has been very humble about the thing. I think he's kind of like where it started. Obviously his daughter was a Shriners kid. There's just a lot of stuff. He came about this whole deal in a roundabout way, but there's hundreds of people that make these events happen. But one of the biggest tournament events in our area is the Casting for Kids, which is a 2-day tournament here at Yatesville and Paintsville Lake. And due to the water conditions and the sheer amount of rain that we've had to endure, like I said, I saw a video today that Yatesville Lake is almost up into the bathroom area.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like what? It's got to be like 40 feet high, right? I mean, it's crazy, but so Chris and his team made a decision, and it's all about safety of the individuals in the tournament to move it to a couple weeks, which I believe he made the right decision. As much as I wanted to fish this next weekend, it's all about keeping everybody safe. So, Chris, I'll let you talk about why you made the decision and how you came about the decision. But first and foremost, I commend you on running one of the best tournaments, if not the best tournament in the area. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor to have you guys, and I enjoyed your video that you done for us, and thank you again, Tyler, for making those round classic little wooden chips. I give them. Actually, I serve on the board of the governors at Lexington Shriners Hospital in Lexington now. Started in January, and it's an honor to do that, and it's a full circle for me, and that's why we do this. And I give one of the board of directors that what you made, that little Casting for Kids, really cool wooden deal that had that classic touch on it, and that was really cool. Thank you for doing that, and what you've raised money with the guitar with El Hassa Temple. Thank you, and thanks for King's Daughters, Doc. What you do, we appreciate King's Daughters being on board and what all you provide, and but. We come to that decision. I was in Tennessee down at the lake house. I was down there fishing, and it was 85 and sunny. But I was living online, looking at the water levels of Yatesville and Paintsville Lake both. I was going back and forth on the water. I got home that night. I watched it till midnight. Thursday night, Friday night, we was in our team of Casting for Kids board of directors and tournament committee. They worked hard on getting the info, and everybody was working hard to get me information, and those guys are just the best. And hats off to our team. I love those guys and who all we have with us. But they give me information that Dave Jackson at the Army Corps of Engineers at Paintsville Lake and Nick at Yatesville, both of them's great guys. Can't say enough of thank you for what help they give us. But Friday, honestly, was all right. Let's be patient. We might have a shot at this. If it starts pulling down Sunday morning, let's just be patient. It could flush out and green water come in behind this. Could make an unbelievable fishing, run here for next Saturday. Saturday morning, this past Saturday morning, I got the call that from our guys, and they was telling me they was in direct communication with Army Corps of Engineers. They called them actually and said, look, this thing, we've just been notified that we have to hold our lakes till probably midweek due to the Ohio River being blew out, all Frankfurt being blew out, and we can't release any more water down through here. So that at that time, I knew what I had to do. So then I started scrambling. I already started on it, but I had to start scrambling to get a date, and that's the hardest thing on earth to do. To miss BFLs, to miss all the clubs, everybody lives through Casting for Kids. They want to be here a part of it. I've got 160 boat field, and we could take 250 here. I can tell you that easy. But that's my very cutoff limit, 160. And I don't want to do that, but I've got so many that's built up to this number. I can't. It's hard to say where do you cut off at, but that's how we got there. I feel we made the best decision for the angler safety. Being around Paintsville Lake today, it's still up 10 foot. It's in a parking lot yet. Yatesville's, like you was mentioning, up the bathhouse right at the bottom base of the walkway. So, it's for the safety of the anglers, it's the best thing to do. And you hate to change it because, firsthand, Tyler, you've got stuff scheduled. And unfortunately, the date we moved to, April 26th, I'm thinking of all this stuff of, all right, what if this guy, and then I didn't know it, but I hit on, high school championship, or I'm sorry, high school regional tournament going to Cape or Harrington now moved to. And you find out you hit on this event, but out of 160 of those boats, I only had like 5 that could not make it, which was, I didn't see that coming. But that was really good. And it's a hard decision to make, but you have to do it first for the anglers' safety and then the experience. I want all you guys to have the best experience,
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And like, again, I don't want to be in your shoes for your socks at this situation, having to make this decision, because again, 5 boats out of 160 not being able to make it after, a change in schedule is, in my opinion, astronomical. Like, that's a great turnout. And so, first off, changing the tournament, don't think that my experience has anything to do with this. But just to give you an idea why I'm not going to be there, Jared's going to be fishing with my buddy Jared Sloan. Hopefully they go out there and smash it. But here in I'm leaving next Thursday, so the 17th of April, I'm going. So I have a goal to catch a black bass species in all 50 states of the United States before I hopefully before I die. And I've pretty much extinguished everything east of, I don't know, Indiana. So I have Maine, Rhode Island, and there's like 3 small states up there in like the northeast, and then Florida, which is weird because I go to Florida every year. I just don't fish down there. Normally am beaching it, but other than that, like everything east of Illinois or Indiana, I've caught a bass in. Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, you name it, Mississippi. But my buddy and I, Dusty and I, we're going to leave here on the 17th, and we're going to drive east. So we're leaving the 17th at 3:30 when I get off work. We're going to drive east to Bull Shoals Lake, which straddles Arkansas and Missouri. So hopefully, if everything goes right there, I'll be able to check off those 2 states. We're going to sleep in a bed of my truck at the campground there, and then we're going to wake up the next morning when we wake up and drive east to Tin Killer in Oklahoma.
Jason,
we're going to sleep in the bed of the truck there. We're going to hopefully fish Tin Killer and catch a fish there in Oklahoma one day, and then once we finish there, we're going to drive directly to Lake Fork, which I have an Airbnb at Lake Fork right on the lake. So we're going to fish Lake Fork for 3 days, which should allow me to check Texas off the list. And then we're going back east to Caney Creek in Louisiana, where we're sleeping in the back of the truck there. So it's going to be a 5-state smash down, sleeping in the bed of the truck in an Airbnb, 9 days, 26 hours in a truck, epic smash down of trying to add 5 more states to my list. So that's why I'm not making it to Casting for Kids. Wish I could be there. Jared's going to be there in my support.
That's a lot of fun. Sounds like coming up. That'll be a lot of good experiences there, memories.
For sure, man. That's what it's all about. Again, let's see. What is this? Dude said he bought a Stella 5000. I mean, come on. Like, if you're going to buy a spinning rod, you might as well buy the spinning rod, right? A Stella. So, 160 boat tournament.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, last year, Chris, I am terrible with numbers, but how much were you able to donate to the Shriners Children's Hospital from the Casting for Kids stuff last year?
So last year we took a $90,000 check to the Lexington Shriners Hospital on behalf of all the anglers. Hey, Tyler Williams, and shout out to Tyler for what all he was a big part of last year. And I met Tyler in Ashland this year, and he gave me probably $4,000 or so that he had raised. So thank you, Tyler Williams. I mean, shout out to you. But the anglers like that and many, many others are a big part of what makes Casting for Kids roll, and what all everybody does and works hard. But so we not only did we do that last year, the last 3 years we have delivered checks of $250,000 in just the last 3 years, hand delivered to Lexington Shriners Hospital, Tyler.
First off, Chris, $250,000 is an absolute absurd amount of money. When you think about the grand scheme of things, we always talk about this, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being kind of I don't know, over the top here, but $250,000 pays for 4 or 5 days in a hospital for a couple kids. You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
So I say that to say this: if you guys are out there watching this right now and you don't fish, maybe you're watching this because you know JR or myself or Chris or whatever, and you just want to be a part of this. This is a fishing tournament with a vehicle to help students or to help children, right? This is not about fishing more than it is helping those people that, let's face it, guys, the next generation is those folks that are younger than 10, 12 years old or even 15. These people are going to be the people that are taking care of us eventually. You know what I mean? And the deal is that some of these folks, they don't have the parents like Chris Ferguson here or JR. They don't have these parents that can not, I like to think that everybody cares about their kids, but not a lot of people can one, prepare yourself for a kid being sick, and two, have the means to pay for the best care that your child deserves, right? They all deserve the best care that you can possibly put on this earth. And the Shriners and the Shriners Hospital provide a way for those students or those kids, I keep saying students, I'm sorry, to get some of the best care on the planet for free to them. But why I'm saying that to say this, if you want to get involved and you're not a fisherman or you have a business and you let's call a spade here, guys. This is a tax-free write-off for you to make a donation to make a good cause. And if you go over to castingforkids.net, that's casting4kids.net, there's a link here. I'll share the link with you right now. Actually, I'll share the screen here. And the deal is that there is a link on there. So I shared it here with you now. You guys can see it. There's a page here at the top that says donation page. And, you can make an anonymous donation if you wish, or you can put your organization down here. And let's face it, there's nothing wrong with getting a tax donation here and getting a tax write-off here, because I would much rather you spend the money here to guarantee that this money is going to make a good cause for somebody in, as young as, newborn to however old that the Shriners Hospital takes. But you could literally change somebody's life with a $20 donation or a $50 donation. We're not asking you here for $20,000, right? I mean, we're okay if you want to do that, right? But it's all about, if you want to be a part of a great thing that Chris and his team have going on with Casting for Kids, you can definitely go over to Casting for Kids. That's casting4kids.net. There's a donation page there. You can donate as much or as little as you want. I would imagine $1 would be more than they had yesterday. So best you can do there, castingforkids.net. If you're not a fisherman or you can't get into the Kentucky event and you'd still like to make a donation and try to make a little bit of a difference, that's where it's happening.
Yeah, that's well said and a great job. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And Jason Kenner, I'll give a shout out to him. He fixed the website there for that. That's took us to some other higher levels about donation. And and online registration. That has really helped us. And I've got so many, I could think we'd be here probably tomorrow at noon. But it's humbling to know that how many people have been in behind and really just like you done there, just took the time and try to tell the story. It's a great humbling thing. What Casting for Kids does also with this is we provide the biggest kids tournament in the country now. And it's huge that you can have 1,200 kids come and fish, and then every kid gets free everything they touch. I mean, we work on this thing year round. We've been in hustling and getting rod and reels up and talking to this one. I mean, this goes on all year round. And my office, I've got 6 offices in my business, and all 5 of them, except for the 5 out of the 6, has got Casting for Kids stuff stacked in the rooms, just piled, just getting ready for the tournaments coming and all that. And we use it just as storage. But I couldn't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of hours that goes into this thing to make it what it is. But we spent $25,000 last year providing the biggest kids tournament, and it's worth every dollar doing that, along with giving transportation free of charge from Paintsville to Lexington for Shriners kids, along with Ashland doing it. We give a check to Ashland that's the temple. And then we also give a check to Corbella Temple in Knoxville out of all this. That's besides giving the $90,000. So that's a rundown.
I mean, that's amazing. And, I'm glad to be just this much of a part of it. You know what I mean? I'm like minuscule when it comes to this. But one of the things that I'm thankful for when it comes to Casting for Kids is the folks that I've met over the last 3 years being able to fish the Casting for Kids tournament. Like, I met Tyler Williams through this. Like, the very first time I met him was a couple years ago at Paintsville at the pre-tournament meeting, right? And like, I knew who he was. He probably knew who I was. He's probably followed the show, but like, I never put a face to a name. But some of these people are like, even you, Chris, like, we would have never crossed paths without this, right? So, and that's one of the things I'm thankful for, is not only making a difference for these kids in a situation that, God forbid, this might be the only way that they make it, right? Is the ability to, we get a fish, man. We get a fish and donate some money to something that could change somebody's life. Now, can it get any better than that? If it does, let me know, because I'm in. Yeah,
I mean, that's well said. Now that I know the inside of the hospital, being on the board of directors down there in Lexington now, we usually average 150 patients with kids a day. We've got over 18,000 patients that come to Lexington Shriners Hospital, and it's a blessing to what goes on. The stories and the articles and the data and behind the scenes that happens at Lexington Shriners Hospital is just amazing. And the thing that we had that come out in January is the new slogan, I should say, is we take it in pride on the most amazing care anywhere. And I will tell you that in all the meetings we have, it takes all day for those meetings, and it is, how do we get better? What do we do to make every single kid experience the best, most amazing day they have and help them? And each one of us take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, and JR could attest to it. And again, I came into this show saying that he's a doctor, obviously, and their expertise is warranted the amount of money that you pay, right? I'm not first off, I'm not knocking what the hospitals make, because they save lives daily. I had a medium-sized kidney stone a couple months ago. King's Daughters took excellent care of me, which, by the way, not sponsored. JR works there, obviously, but they took excellent care of me. But if I didn't have insurance, my bill was $37,000. So that's just me. That's one surgery, one day in the hospital. I can tell you exactly that. But if you are a kid that, one, doesn't have any money, you shouldn't have to worry about that, right? If you're 10 years old, your parents, like, I couldn't imagine being a parent and having to worry about one. First off, my kid is sick to a point where I can't fix her. Right? This is not like Dimetap, back in the day. This is not like, But if it's a point where I have to consult somebody like JR who has an absurd amount of knowledge, then where do you go from there? And that's where Shriners kind of steps in to take that load off from, because now you just have to worry about keeping your kids safe at this point, because you don't have to really worry about that financial burden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing thing. Like I'm super pumped that this year I'm not going to be able to take a part of it. JR and Jared will be there. Obviously I'll be there in spirit. I wish I could be there, but so we talked about a lot of times about, these people like Bubby Boyd and all these people that have changed your life. But give me I'm not talking about people. Give me one specific time that you feel like that now this is like where casting for kids has become more than yourself. Like, is there like is there a single point where you're like, wow, this is like way bigger than I thought?
Yeah. There's a bunch, there's hundreds of them, but one that sticks out in my mind, I have two. I'll do two right quick. One was with the kids that a mom, after the first year that I was doing the kids event, that I knew we tapped into something that I was like, wow, now this is way bigger than any of us ever dreamed and thought of. But she messaged me that night after the kids tournament and said, I want you to know that my daughter is counting the days down on a calendar and asking me to mark off how many more days it is to the next year's kids tournament. She said she's having more fun there today than going to Disney. And that got me there. And there was another Disney time that a business owner and then he was walking through Disneyland and Disney World there in Florida, and he was going down the street, and this shirt I've got on, a guy that he's in the park, and he sees this Casting for Kids shirt coming. He's like, hey, where do you live in Johnson County, Paintsville? He said, do what now? He said, I don't live there. He said, really? Where are you from? He said, sir, I'm from North Carolina. So a guy from North Carolina has a Casting for Kids shirt on. Well, he said, well, how did you ever get a shirt cast for kids? He said, oh, I went to that Douglas tournament. I had the best time ever was. I love everything it's about. So that's the two things that sticks out in my mind of just that's happened that is just something you'll never get out of your mind. And the memories of the kids tournament this past year of the evening to shine with the wheelchair and the crutches, and watching those kids go to the boardwalk that I was blessed to be a part of building, and seeing that dream come full circle, that a kid has the same opportunity to feel what it's like being down at water level, that changed me. And we will never go without having that kids tournament and evening shine as long as we're ever doing Casting for Kids. I mean, that if you really want to get something out of life and be rewarded, what Casting for Kids is about, come out there, pull up a chair, and watch the evening to shine. And I'll promise you it'll change your life, because that tells the whole story of what we're doing about Casting for Kids, the best you could see it.
Yeah. So the evening to shine, just to reiterate from my understanding, is those folks, and I don't like to say that it's special needs. I think those are the folks that have special abilities, right?
That's right.
But that's the day for those folks to come out and do some fishing. And then, like, it's crazy to me, like, that you like to see the pictures. And first off, I've never been a part of it, which I'm going to hopefully this year. That evening to shine, the kids event, like, I've been to Paintsville Lake and I've seen how much shoreline is there, what you guys take up for that the kids event. Like, it is absolutely stunning to me that, first off, there's that many people that live around Paintsville Lake, but those folks bring their kids out. Man, it seemed like there's 10,000 people there. Like, what's the average? I mean, what did you guys have last year? Do you guys know?
Yeah, we knocked on the door again right at 1,200 kids, but there was every bit of total people there, 10,000 plus. It's like a festival now, honestly. We had to shuttle with buses from Johnson Central High School to get people up there, and they walked for, if you've ever been to Paintsville Lake, just as soon as you top the hill, we take trolley car and golf carts and vans and shuttle buses out there to pick people up just as soon as you by the cemetery, so to speak, through there. And it's an amazing thing to look at and see. And there's still plenty of room. I don't want kids to think, and parents especially think, that there's not enough room. You can't. Yeah, there's plenty of room. You can take a golf cart or a vehicle and drive back to the dam, catch your fish, put them in a bucket, and bring them back to us. I mean, you could go maneuver around that area. It's big, broad, several places to go, but it's gotten huge. I mean, it really has.
Yeah, 10,000 folks. If there's 1,201 kids that are fishing there, one more than last year, that's a great. But I'm sure they're going to find you a place to cast a line. we'll find you a spot. If I have to take my boat out there and put you on it out there in the middle, we'll get you out there somewhere. And like as crazy as it seems like, is like when I was a kid, and this is like maybe this is nonsensical to think about this way, but somebody had to show me fishing at some point. That very first time I went fishing was probably with my parents. I imagine my dad was there, probably my grandparents were there. When I caught that fish, I've saw memes about it, and you guys have too, where like bluegill is the gateway drug to fishing. But I feel like that those points, if we look in our area, there's not a lot of opportunities, as far as like a ton of jobs, ton of opportunities to make a crap ton of money. But we do have some decent fishing. But it is amazing to me that there's so many people in our area that love fishing to a core like I do when we live in the armpit of America for bass fishing. But it's an amazing, but seeing those kids out there, man, like it has to tug on your heartstrings. If you see those kids out there, especially on that evening to shine you're talking about, like if you can literally go out there and watch those folks catch fish there at Paintsville Lake, and if you can wipe the smile off your face with a fire hydrant, you should probably check your pulse because you're probably dead.
Yeah, exactly. And the anglers, going to that, I've dealt with so many anglers here. This is my 11th year doing this thing, and there's so many good stories and so much that's happened, and I could go on and on about it. But the Johnny Webb that catches, and we've got it live video, and that thing's got 50,000 views now or more. That we catch the winning fish on Paintsville Lake, video on it live. It's a 5-pounder, and Johnny's passed away, and we loved him so much, and that memory is going to last in our minds, and see that on video from now on. And I'll never, the passion of these anglers, I don't even understand how much they love this. I mean, to tell you, when William Boyd, the Bubby Boyd, when I go to the funeral home, whenever the family asks, and they have a shirt, this shirt I've got on, they buried William Boyd in. I mean, there's nothing no more humbling than that. Every pallbearer had this shirt on. It's very humbling, and it makes you want to work harder to make it better for all the anglers who's helping us give back. And it's just amazing how the passion lives here. That it's a special group of people. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it's such a deep, passion that you guys have created, and personally, I take care of adults all the time, but the innocence and the purity of taking care of a child who's sick, I think it takes a really special person, and you guys highlighting that, and really helping the people of our area get to those hospitals is a beautiful thing. I after hearing about it, the very first time, I wanted to be a big part of it. And one thing that I think of is the very first time me and you met, Chris. The first time we had done casting for kids, I guess it's going to be 3 years ago. I came up to you and you handed me a sausage biscuit. So I always think about that, and then just, kicking it off, right like that, and being able to talk about so many things, like, and it being so easy to get everything off the ground. And, from then on, we've kind of been a small part of this. And I certainly hope I can continue to propagate past casting for kids as much as I can, because I feel like it's such a good thing. And I've met so many good people around the organization as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate that. And you guys are always big supporters, and it means a lot to us about how you represent, how you're wanting to plug for us and do it. And I thank you both. Our team and all Casting for Kids really appreciate what you all do to support and back us, and we know that and feel it. And it's very, very appreciated.
Yeah. So, Chris, this is pretty crazy. Last week on our Facebook page, I've been posting a lot more and a lot of things throughout the year. So we started January 1st of 2025 posting a lot more, a lot better data, a lot better quality stuff, looking at SEO and all that stuff. Just broke 1.1 million views for the Facebook page since January. That's pretty big.
That's awesome. Congrats.
It's I think it takes a village, right? It's not just like that comes from everything. It's like you guys being successful, us being successful, and this is kind of a hot topic right now for JR and I. But do you ever run into negativity in the realm of what you do?
For the most part, we don't. And everybody's real positive. They understand and they get it. I guess when we went out of state the first year, when we go down Tennessee, we're still trying to market and sell it. We had just maybe a little bit of people thinking that we were coming down there to take over or get into their tournament organization, and we're not. We have Curbella there. That's Curbella Shriners. It's in Knoxville, which I am an honorary member of Curbella now. That the potentate or Curbella Temple serves on the board of directors with me at Lexington Shriners Hospital. So he's actually secretary and trustee. You get into, that's probably the only time we got into a little bit, but that was just nothing really, just a minor bump in the road. But I think now they're starting to look at and say, hey, these folks are just coming in here and they're wanting to do this one event. They're raising money, they're giving it all back, and we get now what they're doing. But I think up front, some folks might have thought that we were trying to get into their organization. We're not. We would like to support whatever they're doing. It's just we're trying to give back to helping those kids down there at Knoxville and Greenville, South Carolina Shriners Hospital also,
That's something Tyler have kind of, I think we can call it an initiative now, is to, make fishing fun again and not be so stinking negative. Everything you see, and today I actually sent a video to Tyler of Dustin Connell talking about how we have to just rise above all this negativity. And I was like, man, this is perfect, because I feel like certainly in my realm and in everybody's realm, they deal with so much negativity, and you can either choose to, rise above it, or let it, depress you, bring you down. And, that's not why any of us got into fishing. There's no, this is something that we all have to kind of promote as, let's make fishing fun again and not make it, high school drama.
Right. And as Strick said, DC is awesome. He's talking about Dustin Connell. And just to kind of give you a little bit of context of what Dustin's response was today, was that the fellow that won the Bassmaster Classic, he just about died of a brain aneurysm, brain tumor. Don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly what was the deal, but he had brain surgery a year prior to that, and then comes back, has a crazy season, makes the Bassmaster Classic, wins the Bassmaster Classic. But he gets so much hate, and I still to this day am still trying to wrap my head around how folks that love fishing as much as I do can be so hateful. So hateful. Like I deal with people commenting on my stuff daily, and like at this point, I just kind of give it back to them because it is what it is. I can do the exact same they can, but it's crazy to me. Like you have these people that like they just love to hate on people, and I swear to goodness, I swear I think fishing is the worst part about it. Like you can't go like you go to like any other thing, drag racing or whatever. There's going to people that are running their mouth at the track, but I can't imagine people are watching videos and be like, "Oh, you got live scope, you suck." and fishing has been that way, but in the negativity side of that, the reason I ask you that question is that I feel like that you have the platform where it would be almost impossible to find anything wrong with it.
Well, I mean, we're going to make mistakes, and we have, and we're going to make plenty of them because we all do every day. We wake up and we ain't going to be perfect, and we're not going to get it right. And we try to put the angler first as far as these events. I think that's what we work hard to do is we put ourselves over in the angler's shoes, and how do we give them the best experience? How do we put them in the best position to where both anglers at these dates? And I think a lot of forward facing is great technology, and I think it's good to use. I'll have it on my boat. I mean, we all do, but I think that we've got to figure out the happy medium of this thing and come together as a one unit. We shouldn't throw it plumb out of the bus, but yet at the same time, everybody can eat off the plate. And I think the one thing that we've got to do, and I've said this to some buddies of mine and some other folks, I think you fix this if whoever the first big organization as far as Bassmaster or Major League Fishing, if they say, okay, we're going to have a forward-facing sonar league. So you've got that league there sitting there that qualifies to a cup or a classic, and then let all this over here in the feeder systems with co-anglers and all that do their thing. But I think you only fix this because you can't take away forward-facing now that you have that and all these kids and whoever, I mean, whatever age they are doing that. I think you have to blend it all in and eat off the same table. I think the fix in it is to create a forward-facing league that would have a participation in going into a classic or a big cup venue. I think that's the only fix to it. And I think because it's not fair to take away what they have now, it's not fair to take away from Gerald Swindle that's worked for 40 years, 30 years, or what have you, or these guys that is relied on their living, but they can't catch up to this style or whatever, this page. I think it can work all together, but you got to have leagues that has that in it. And it's a great technology, and it's very hard to do, and you got to have a heck of a skill to do it. And I have many buddies that is phenomenal at it, but I think that's where you got to go with it to make everybody come to one plate.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the thing about it is, like, we're kind of getting off topic here as far as forward-facing sonar, but you're right though. But I feel like that there's like two camps. There's never, and I feel like I'm in like the third camp, and I feel like what you just said there kind of puts you in that third camp. And what I mean by this is there's a camp over here where you absolutely like are okay with forward-facing sonar, and there's a camp over here where if you have forward-facing sonar on your boat, you're going straight to hell. Yeah. And like there's no in between. It's like just there. But I'm like somewhere here in the middle, and I feel like that's what you're saying is that personally, I would much rather pick up a spinnerbait. Spinnerbait's my favorite bait on the planet. I make a ton of them. I make a couple hundred of them a year. Yes. I'd much rather pick up a spinnerbait, throw it on a 173 medium heavy poison adrenal with a metanium with 12-pound Sunline FC Sniper, and I would go down the bank and I would beat every stump that I could with that, and I would catch fish when I could. That's my style of fishing. Crankbaits, I can pitch and flip with the best of them. But if you are in a tournament right now, whether it is Weekender Series all the way up to BFL, Toyota Series, MLF Championship, Bassmaster Classic, If you are not using forward-facing sonar, you're going to get your rear end whipped 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, the thing, and that's the truth. And the thing that I worry about, and I think the fix is having its own league, and then having a league at each division as far as MLF and Bassmaster. But I think you need to have one there. But the thing I see that I'm most worried about is the tackle organizations. How are they going to sell spinner baits? Crankbaits. I talked to a guy the other day that's the ownership of one. He said, "Man," he said, I don't know if I can hang in there and sell." Well, that's what worries me about it. That worries me about the sponsorships, how the Strike Kings and everybody. There's a whole lot of. I mean, they're going to sell boats. As boats going to continue to be down. I'm most worried about the weekend angler feeling that he can't go compete again. Now, that's the only thing I really look at. I do think your scheduling can help the cause. If you go into a good pre-spawn right before, I think you can help. It's a very busy topic this day and time that we're all right in the middle of. But I think if everybody allows to eat off the plate and come into one place, I think it can work for the good of everything together. But I think you've got to incorporate the old school, so to speak, way in with the new. And scheduling of events that these major organizations are doing right in the middle of July and June, look, you know what's coming. I think the scheduling can help a lot of this stuff with everybody. And it's just, the weekend anglers are one I worry about because it's your feeder system. And the co-anglers are a big concern of mine throughout America because the co-anglers buy the boats, the tackle. That's the brine thrift that got in the back of the boat and come to the front. I fished the FLW Tour as a co-angler. I learned more than that 1 year than I did all the years of fishing as a co-angler on the FLW Tour, going with my buddy that I travel with. And it is that is losing, and they need to fix it. And I think you can fix it if you come up with your own system over here, like I'm talking about. That's the only way I see you fix it.
Yeah, I get that. Brad and I were talking on Borders, which shout out, by the way, to Border Sporting Goods in Summit, Kentucky. They've been a huge supporter of us forever. But that's what we're talking. What we were talking about with Brad. He and I have a conversation about. You're talking about the tackle industry being affected, and I think that's so relevant to the fact of if you look at the last 5 Bassmaster Classic releases of baits, right? I used to get so pumped up about what's coming out with Shimano, what is G Loomis coming out with, what is Strike King, what is Jackal coming out with, what does Picasso have, what's new. Because it was a huge gamut. It was from over here to over here. There was so much. There was a wide variety. Nowadays, there's a different type of forward-facing sonar bait and a different type of forward-facing sonar gear, if you will, that, Brad and I were talking that it has to have a major, it has to have a major effect on the fishing industry because in the last 5 years, and I'm asking both of you, JR and Chris, in the last 5 years, what bait on the planet has been an absolute, we say game changer, right? Game changer is huge. It's like sticky shark books. It's everywhere. But what in the last 5 years, what bait has come out that you're like, oh my God, that has changed the fishing industry? I can't think of one in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, there's some real good baits that has been very good and very successful. But at the end of the day, I had a high school angler call me the other night, and I have college anglers I talk with, and I keep in communication with a lot of them. And I had a high school angler and a college angler that's fishing for college right now, and I help them everywhere I possibly can on the legal information, and I'm glad to do that and when they're allowed to. And to help these kids out. It's tough out on the road. But their comment to me was, I'd just like to have my buddy have the same experience with me as I do, or I want the same experience as him. And that's the one thing that's hurting a little bit. Someone's watching bed fishing go on. That's a tough thing. And how do you fix that? That's a tough one. He said we've got college kids that don't even practice but go out and they don't even pick a rod up. They're just going with their hands in their shorts and pockets, and they're staring all day. That's I know we're off topic, but it's very busy with all this going on right now, and I don't know if there's a direct answer to the team in the boat together when it comes to that. That's tough.
Yeah, I get with that. And I think that Ricky, his comment there that we just got rid of, he said he figures the BPT has it figured out. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ricky, I think if they're only allowed to use it one day, I think, of one period per day. So
right.
That kind of takes, so if you're really good at forward facing sonar, but you suck at regular fishing, then you're probably going to be called out on it. But if you're, you mentioned Brian Thrift, Smoke can freaking whack him, right? That dude can freaking catch him. If you're somebody like that, then you're very well rounded. But, I saw a comment not too long ago, like it was last week. A fellow said that the reason that we have so many unnamed anglers that are doing really well in college and even into the pros is the fact that COVID happened, and a lot of these people have families that have a lot of money, and they were able to spend a lot of time on the water and dial in forward-facing sonar, and that's how they're becoming relevant, which I don't care. I have forward-facing sonar, guys. Nothing pisses me off more than being able to see a fish and not catch it.
It's hard. Yeah, it's not having it on the front deck and it's easy. I mean, it's a very, very challenging thing to do, to make a fish bite looking at it out there in 30 foot, 25 or 20. It's frustrating. And my hat's off to a guy that can make that fish bite. There's an art to that. There's a technique to that. And they have unlocked a box on that. And, it's a technique. The team situation is the toughest thing in America right now. I feel we're facing with team fishing. Somebody's going to get a tough day. Whether Toyota Series, never have seen 131 boats in my lifetime, only on Chickamauga 3 or 4 weeks ago. I mean, something has got to be done to help this. BFLs is down to 60 some boats. They're going to have to fix it, and I don't. The only way I see that they can do it is putting its own league or something of that nature, where you don't take away from the technology and who all wants to do it. That's about the only way I see you can fix this thing, is do something structured like that.
Yeah, no, I get that. And as a co-angler, I can speak to the fact that my buddy Kyle, one of my best friends on the planet, he's a boater. And he says, hey, let's go down and fish the Del Hollow BFL. I was like, okay, you want me to stand on the back of my boat in 60 foot of water while a guy does this all day?
Yeah.
I'm not interested. And we're seeing that as a co-angler, and you can't blame people for that. So you're 100% right when it comes to the fact of understanding that there has to be something to do, something to change. Like I don't necessarily think that the NPFL has it figured out where they just banned it totally. Like I think that maybe that's it. Maybe like if you want to fish straight maybe like it'll never work because they're all competitors. But like if you like band together as like NPFL, Bass, and MLF, and be like, okay, NPFL don't allow it at all. MLF says, okay, you can use the one period, and then Bass allows it. Maybe that's how it's fixed. You know what I mean? You choose what series you want to fish and figure it out. But it is so crazy how, like, it's literally when we like, again, we throw game changer around a lot, but like the forward facing sonar has changed fishing.
Yes.
And it's changed it in not only the fishing aspect, but there's nobody that I know of. Like 10 years ago, I used to watch the Bassmaster Classic because I knew every angler in there. Like it was Gerald Swindle, and you had Polinick, and you had all these other people that now like 80% of the fields people I've never heard of, which congrats to them. But I think that goes to say with kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and I think that we're seeing the results of it of the Classic being way down on attendance. We're seeing the effects of it of being you can't get full fields in Toyotas now. I mean, the overall public is speaking, but it's not to say that you still need to keep forward facing going and put it over here in this league. I feel. I think you just don't say you guys get out of here, and I think it's an art, it's a technique, and it needs to stay. But somebody's going to have to structure it to where you pick. Where that way, if you've got it to where you pick what you want to do, everybody's still selling tackle, everybody's selling boats. You've got, everybody can buy rods and bait catcher. You've got to have it to where the fishing industry can get back going to make it. On the way we're going, it's going to self-deplete itself if we don't watch what we're doing about just having money circulating. I mean, it's being honest. I mean, spinning rods and minnows is not going to keep doors open.
Yep. I think you're 100% right with that. So let's get back into the Casting for Kids event here. But before that, I like to share this YouTube channel with you guys really quickly. FSM Outdoors. That's S as in Sam, M as in Michael, Outdoors. You guys are seeing it here. This is Fisher McCoy. Fisher McCoy is a son of a fellow that I know, Luke McCoy. I didn't even know he was a YouTuber, to be honest with you. I was over at Borders talking to Brad the other day, and Fisher and his dad Luke were there, and he was telling me that he was starting a YouTube channel, and he told me at that point he had 130 subscribers, so he's gained 50 since last week, which is awesome. If you want to support the folks that is going to be, the next generation, I feel like Fisher McCoy here is one of those people. FSM Outdoors. Go over there and hit that subscribe button. And the thing about it is, if you don't know anything about YouTube, is the fact that it costs you $0 to subscribe to somebody. And if you don't have an account, just go over there and watch his stuff. It means a lot. Like, he's a young kid. He's doing some cool stuff. And the great thing about it, his outdoor channel there is not about just fishing. Like, he goes out and like takes care of his chickens and stuff. Like I watch it daily. It's awesome and good stuff. Fisher has got something going on, so definitely go check him out.
I'll definitely subscribe.
Yeah. So back to Casting for Kids. Sorry if you guys are here for Casting for Kids. We got kind of off topic because that's hot button situation here, but let's kind of switch our efforts from Kentucky to the Tennessee event. So if you guys want to be a part of the Casting for Kids events and you don't want to just straight donate at castingforkids.net, but you want to do some fishing and may have a chance to win. So for example, they're paying out $16,000 in Kentucky here in a couple weeks or 2 weeks from now. And that's crazy for one but they're able to pay, like Chris said, $90,000 plus giving checks to all the Shriner, temples around the area, plus $90,000 donated to the Shriners Hospital. But if you want to be part of a situation where you have the opportunity to potentially win a pretty substantial amount of money, there's still the ability to get registered for the Douglas event, which is coming up. Was that May 5th? Where is that, Chris?
May the 3rd.
Okay, May 3rd. Sorry. So again, you can register for that, casting4kids.net. That's casting the number 4kids.net. You can register there. And what are you capping that event at?
I'm gonna put a 250 boat limit on that, and if Douglas will handle it. This past Saturday, there was 200 boats on Douglas with Morristown Marine, and there was plenty of water. I was out there fishing Saturday along with, and it's all kind of, Douglas is a big lake, 34,000 acres, I think it is. But, that event's going to pay $13,000 one day event, $1,000 big fish to Jeremy Gordon, my buddy, matter of fact, he just won the Morristown down there Saturday. A great angler, one of the hottest anglers that's out there. Jeremy is a phenomenal angler. and he had 1738, I believe it was, down there at Morristown tournament Saturday. And he and I have been fortunate enough to be in championship days on the back lines at Gunnersville, Potomac River, made the cut together on some runs. And we made 3 back-to-back cuts together on the Toyota Series last year and the year before, and we've gotten to be good friends through this. And he stepped up and said, "Hey, I'm going to give $1,000 Big Fish award on behalf of me to help this cause." So Jeremy's sponsored $1,000 Big Fish at Douglas, and that's so nice of him and humbling. And I thank Jeremy very much for that. And 13,000 first place. We need the help of getting anglers to come to us. And that classic that's going to be on Chickamauga in the fall of the year with grass fishing at its prime at October the 18th and 19th, Tyler and JR, $100,000 total purse payout with 200 boats. I'm going to pay everything back. And I'm going to take the top 100 boats from Kentucky and the top 100 from Tennessee. You can get in by making the top 100 cut at Douglas. And it's going to be very important for everybody to try to make it to the Classic, because it's going to be phenomenal. And that's, as far as a trail, it's one of the biggest in the country to put money out like that. And we're doing that to give back to the angler for helping us raise money through the year. We give back and donate our time to go put this on, to give to the anglers to put it back, and to who's helping us get to where we want to go.
Yeah, so the amount of money that you guys are paying out at any of these events is crazy. And again, that goes to show the amount of people that are behind the scenes making this thing happen. Like, I'm sure there's people that donate money to you that probably tell you that, look, I don't want any recognition. Like, don't shout me out. Like, this is not what it's about. Like, I don't care. Like, it's probably huge amounts of money, right? It's probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, whatever it is. Like, people just donate because they see the good in the cause that you guys have built around casting for kids, which, again, I'm this big compared to you guys in the amount of what I do for casting for kids. Obviously, we talked about it 100 times. Anything that I can do or that you think that I can do, shout me out, because I may be able to do it, JR included. But we're over that hour mark. So, Chris, I appreciate you for being a part of this episode of On Another Line. But I encourage you, those of you folks out there watching, even if it's not live, if you're watching this a year from now, 5 years from now, this organization, Casting for Kids, is not going anywhere. And here's why I'm going to tell you that, because not only with Chris, but there's so many people that are like, this organization is crawling with people that want to make this the biggest thing that it can be. So this is going to go, I hope, way far and beyond after I'm no longer on this planet. I hope they're still helping kids.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing this 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and you're like, hey, I'd like to make a donation to this cause, even if you're not a fisherman, Casting for Kids, casting the number 4 kids.net. And I will put that up here on the banner really quick. But you can definitely donate there. And if you would like to fish and you want to be a part of it, you can still get into the Casting for Kids event at Douglas Lake. That's in May. It's a big deal. And if you finish in the top 100, which is really, if you think about it, 160 boats in Kentucky, you have to finish less than 50% in the field and have a chance to win an absolute absurd amount of money at Chickamauga. And then you're going to, if you don't get in that event, sign up for the one at Douglas, sign up for both of them, sign up for all of it, sign up for yes, just say yes to everything, sign in. It's a great deal. There is a pre-tournament meeting that is required for at least one person to come to, especially in a Kentucky event. It's hosted at Johnson Central High School, and I assume that's still going to go on Friday before the tournament, correct, Chris?
Yeah, that'll be April the 25th at Johnson Central High School, and we do a lot of special things. We give out an award each year to the Angler Impact Award. who's made a big impact in their community. We give that award out. Yes, they are a waiting list. I see him post there that on Kentucky. We've probably got about 25 on a waiting list right now. And but Douglas Lake is open. You can go on now and sign up for Douglas Lake and get in it. That's your ticket. And May the 3rd at Douglas Lake, let me tell you something. Is anybody's ball game? Them bass are spraying down there. They're close to going on the bed. Water 67 degrees. I'm sure there's fish on the bed on lower end of the lake and what around midsection. Douglas is cleaned up phenomenal. The TVA got contractors and barges out there, and I'm telling you, they took the brush off the shorelines. Unbelievable. Probably the cleanest I've seen the lake in 20 years. And it's a shout out to them. There will be a pre-tournament meeting for one angler mandatory on Friday, May the 2nd at the Field of Dreams in Dandridge. We'll have hamburgers. Will be I've got a great angler down there, Doug Couch, that's going to donate his time standing and fixing everybody there a hamburger. I mean, this is what it gathers. The servant heart comes to us, and we're just humbled. I mean, guys, it's that's all you can say is you're humble when you see this many people come in and say, "Where do you want me?"
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Jared, do you have anything?
No, I'm just excited. I'm really hoping I can fish the Douglas event. We're kind of working that out right now. I'm thinking I'm going to. I know that I think you're still gone on that one, Tyler, or you're elsewhere on that day too. So I might be reaching out to somebody watching tonight to fish with me too. But I think I'm going to do both this year.
Yeah, that's amazing. So again, Chris, I appreciate you being a part of On to the Line all over the time, all the time. You guys at Casting for Kids have an open invitation to come in talking fishing, and I'd love to get you on sometime soon just to talk fishing above and beyond Casting for Kids, because I know you can catch them too. We're all about here trying to learn how to catch fish. In the grand scheme of things, I'm no pro. I do not claim to be a pro. Matter of fact, you can follow me around daily and find out that I, in fact, cannot catch fish. But it's always a good time. If you're interested in getting to be a part of the Casting for Kids environment, casting4kids.net, which is here on the screen, and it will be in about 8 seconds here when I find it again. Casting4kids.net. There we go. You can donate there if you have a business. You'd like to have a tax deductible contribution. You can do that there. It's called spade a spade. You can get a tax contribution, taxable contribution to make a difference there. So if you have, if you make $10 billion a year, you can donate a billion. We'll appreciate that. But again, I have zero to do with Casting for Kids other than the fact that I get to fish a tournament that is the best on the planet, in my opinion. Anytime you can put 160 boats on Paintsville and Yatesville Lake, and especially Yatesville Lake, if you look at the parking lots at Yatesville Lake, and this is something that I've praised Chris and his team on year and year, is the fact that it is a well-oiled machine. It's like a grease pig, man. You come in there, you say, okay, I'm going to put my boat in. They have somebody flagging you every direction you need to go. They park your trailer. You get in your boat. They have biscuits and coffee and everything you could possibly ever want to make you, the angler, more comfortable to do what we get to do. We get to fish and make a difference, which is amazing. So if you're interested in doing that, Douglas Lake is when you need to do that. That's May. You can definitely get in on that. It's the first weekend of May there. Casting4kids.net to get involved. If not, shoot Chris Ferguson, a message. He'll definitely get you hooked up. You can message us. We'll definitely do the same thing. And I am extremely humbled to be a very small part in a massive. It's a snowball effect, ladies and gents. It's just $5 turns into $5,000, which turns into $50,000, which turns into $500,000, which turns into $5 million eventually. So that $1 donation that you can make, it makes a difference. Like, don't think just because I'm only able to donate $1. Look, that $1 is a difference maker. We're not asking for $10,000 here. We're asking you to please be a part of this somehow. Even if you can't donate anything, come out to some of the events, come out to that, Night to Shine, come out to those kids events, donate your time, be there, be present. That's all that it takes.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Chris, I appreciate you being a part of On Another Line tonight. And 2 weeks from now, we have Casting for Kids, Kentucky. It's about a month, I guess now. Well, a little less than a month away. You're going to have the Douglas event. And then in the fall, Lake Chickamauga Classic for an absolute absurd amount of money. Be a part of one of those things, guys. And you know the routine. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.